Hey everybody, welcome back to my hangar. Now, it's been a little while since I've put out an episode for the Super Duty build, and I have been getting a little bit of work done on the Super Duty, but I've been so busy with so many projects that when I come into the hangar to work on the Super Duty, it's usually just for 5 or 10 minutes, and I get a little bit of work done, and I don't bother setting up the camera. So in this video, I'm going to show you what all I've been doing in the hangar, and then I'll show you what I've got done on the Super Duty in the last couple weeks. Well, let's start off with the projects I've been doing on the hangar itself. When I bought this house originally, you can see on the very top here this white styrofoam they have on the door. That's just 1-inch styrofoam that really offers no insulation value to the hangar. So last summer, I ripped off all the styrofoam on the bottom 2 rows of the hangar door, and I put up this 2-inch pink foam. And of course, the foam has to be measured and cut to fit inside the squares. And then also, when I take off the white styrofoam, I have to scrape off all the glue all the way around the square. So it takes quite a while to do. So I've just finished taking off all the foam on this next row. So now I have a few sheets of the pink foam here marked and ready to cut. Once I cut them, I can put them up there. When that row is done, then I got to do the top row. And I'd really like to get this done before winter. Now, about a year ago, my ceiling fan blew up in my hangar, so it needed changed. And I ordered a fan, and I've had it sitting here for probably 6 months, and I've just never got around to putting it up. If you guys remember, there used to be scaffolding sitting over in this corner, and that's my buddy Gordon's scaffolding. And we had it here so that I could do that fan. So I wanted to get rid of the scaffolding, so I finally put the new fan up. That's kind of nice to have. Now back in this corner here, from my compressor that's sitting in the corner, you might remember from my previous videos, there was a blue air line that went all the way up, all the way over, and then all the way down to the air filter. And I didn't like that hose or that blue line there, and I don't really think that I needed it that long. So while I had the scaffolding, I took down that hose, and now I have it just going along the bottom here, and you can see it's routed slightly downhill so that water can drain down to here where I have a drain, and then it comes up to here and then over and in. Now I know some of you guys are thinking, because I thought of this too, you know, this is lower here, and water, if it's in the line, it could sit in there, and that's true. But other than raising this compressor up another foot off the floor, which I'm not going to do, there's kind of no way around that really. So, you know, if there's water in there, hopefully it just blows it through, and then this water trap and filter catches it. Since I had the scaffolding over here and now a nice clean wall, I just hung up some of the flags and banners that I have. Obviously, that's the EAA. That one's from MASH, my favorite TV show. These flags here, I don't remember the company, but they're in Michigan. You can find them online, but they make a lot of flags with different military aircraft on it. And then I have my Blue Angels poster here that I got at Oshkosh in, what year? 2017. This was actually in the display window. And when Oshkosh was closing up, they were taking it down. I stopped by and asked them if I could buy it. So I gave the kid $100 and he gave me the poster. Now over on this side of the hangar, I had my 2 Super Duty wings here, and I moved one of them into the garage because I wanted to make some room over here. I couldn't even get to the windows. And then also, if you remember, I had our edumacation board, which was just a big whiteboard on this wall. And I took that down because I had some really nice posters that I wanted to hang up. That one there, the pits, I bought at Oshkosh a few years ago, and it's just been sitting around. And all these other ones, this one, and that one, they were just free posters I got at Oshkosh, and then I bought that one and had it framed. But they look pretty good there. I liked it better than just having that big whiteboard there. So those are set up nice now. Now, I think by now pretty much all of you have guessed what secret project number 1 is, and that of course is the pits behind me. Now, I'm going to have a future video on this airplane, but this is an airplane that I bought for free. And if that doesn't make sense, make sure you subscribe because I'll explain how I did it on a future video on this airplane. I found this Pitts for sale in Dallas, Texas. It hadn't flown in 30 years. There's only 8 hours on the engine and the airframe, so it's essentially a brand new airplane. And again, I'm gonna tell this story on the Pitts video that I'm gonna make. But anyway, I flew down I airlined down to Dallas. I rented a U-Haul, took the airplane apart, put it in a trailer, drove it 1,400 miles back home, put it back in my hangar, took all the panels off, went through everything, fixed a few things, updated a few things, and put it back together. Now you can see there's a black line separating the red from the white on the wings and on the fuselage. And what was interesting is on the top wing, they never painted the black on it. So before I put it together, I kind of set up my paint booth real quick. I got some black Superflight paint and I masked off and painted the black lines on the top of the wing. Obviously, it looks so much better with the black on it. Now, as you can imagine, putting a biplane back together, the wings have to be rigged in a specific way, and I have no idea how to do that. So I enlisted the help of my buddy Don, who is an authority on biplanes. Now, what's cool, Don is one of those guys that can do absolutely anything. He designed and built his own biplane. And what's neat about his airplane is he designed it so when you pull back on the stick, all 4 ailerons droop, which gets incredible aerobatic performance in there. And he got the idea from a radio-controlled airplane. Really neat guy. So he designed and built this airplane called a Sundance. When he was done with that, he somehow found original plans for a Fokker triplane, and he scratch built this airplane from the plans. Now everything is exactly per plans, except I believe he was telling me that the engine on the original airplane spins. In this airplane, obviously the engine doesn't spin. It's a regular radial with a prop. And what I'm hoping to do is fly back to Don's house again and kind of have him really go through those airplanes and maybe show you guys just the incredible work that he did. Anyway, when we went up to his house, I wanted to look at his airplanes, and he actually let me sit in the I keep calling it a tri-motor, but the triplane.
All right, so the left foot on here is close to the plane. Here.
There you go. If you can, go all the way in. There you go. Okay. Stand right on the seat.
Oops, and can I lean on here
Yeah,
like
you
this?
can hold on to that. Yep.
Oh, this is comfortable.
Now you can pull the stick back. It's got an original stick. You fly it with your right hand. There you go. And this one used to be the throttle. Then if you push the 2 levers, those will activate both the right and the left machine gun. You can push them. They're spring loaded, one at a time if you want. And then with your right hand, there's a lever. If you stretch your fingers out, you can pull that, and both machine guns will fire.
Wow. Isn't that neat? My goodness. So this was the throttle on there?
It used to be, well, because the rotary engine only ran good at idle, and it ran good at wide open throttle.
Okay.
So there's a throttle on the left side. You would use that for taxiing.
Oh.
Okay, and the throttle up on the ground so that you could check the mags. Then after it was running, you would run this at full throttle.
Okay.
Then you would override it with this one. So then the center is what they call the blip switch. You kept the throttle at wide open, and as you're coming in for a landing, you killed the mags with your thumb. And then if you're running short, you took your finger off the button and the engine came back to life.
Okay.
So if you listen to like a World War I movie, the engine's going
So
as
that's
they're coming in for landing.
Okay.
Because the guy's got his thumb on the blip switch. After you're on the ground, and then you reach to this throttle here and you pull it back to idle. Right, and that's typically how they flew them. And this are rubber, and that's for when the airplane tips over. These hit your shoulder before you, and then that's what this is for. It saves your face.
Okay.
So they tipped them over quite regularly.
Yeah.
The wing is so high on the top, And the landing gear so far, it has a lot, it's really top heavy.
Okay.
So and a lot of them didn't have any brakes back then. And if you did get into something soft, it'd flip the airplane over.
Okay.
Right.
Could you imagine back in the day, dog fighting in this?
Ooh. So then coming in from landing, you would stick your head outside and look down here to try to find the edge of the runway.
You're right. You can't see anything outside. I'm surprised how comfortable this is to sit in. I mean, it's really comfortable. Wow. This is amazing.
Oh yeah, gotta look official.
Great.
Little bit, but
Oh yeah.
that's good. Put the goggles on. You gotta keep them up here so we can see your face. There you go. There you go.
The skirt.
So this way, goes all the way around, and the tail goes to the back. That just flows in the ring. There you go.
All right. Clear prop.
That's it. He's ready to go.
Woo! I think I got a couple. I shot somebody down. My goodness, this is so cool.
Yeah.
This brings you right back to the,
Very cool.
what, 1916, 17, something like that?
You're ready to go. It would sure look good in your hangar.
It would.
Boy, would it ever.
I don't know if I know how to fly it though.
Oh, just you gotta help me out with the sales pitch
Yeah,
here.
I'll work on him.
Wouldn't you agree?
Oh
Would
yeah,
it look good in his hangar?
he's got a big hangar too. So.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm guessing this airplane's probably worth more than
He
a
can
house.
walk into his hangar out of his kitchen. It's kind of nice.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah, this will be really fun to fly.
Yep, it has a rudder bar in there for your feet.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't have rudder pedals, but this one I did put pedals on it.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, is this the brake or is that just a... The round bar on there, is that just to keep your feet on the rudders? Wait.
Yep.
So this bar right here, does that do anything or is that just like a shield kind of thing?
Yeah, you put, yep, there you go,
Okay,
and then your heels just slide in the aluminum underneath, right.
Oh, so you,
So the
I
whole
see.
thing
Oh, so
moves
it's-
forward and
yeah,
back.
okay.
Yep. Very poor design. Because what happens is, if you want to turn right and you want to add a little brake, your right foot goes forward, okay? But then to push the right brake pedal down, you got to turn your foot and your foot has to go crossways. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it does,
But
you're
what
right.
happens is when your left one comes rearward, it pushes on your left foot and it applies the left
the
brake
brake.
when you want to go right. It wants to go left. Kind of a bad design.
Well, you figure this was only 15 years after the Wright brothers.
Yeah, right. So we got 100 years of improvements to
1917.
figure that out.
Yep. So it really has some drawbacks to it. It really it flies like a 100-year-old.
Now what I've been working on the last day is just getting the Cruzer ready for Oshkosh. Oshkosh is, what, 2.5 weeks away. And I'm just getting the airplane cleaned up. I took the top cowl off just because I want to do a really good inspection in here before I go. And what I've been doing yesterday was polishing the gear, and I've been doing the whole bottom of the plane. I never realized how much the gear needed polished. I mean, it still kind of looks shiny, but then when I polished it, it really, really pops. So just getting that ready, giving the airplane a good going over. I landed it on grass the other day, so it's full of bugs and stuff. I really need to clean the wheel pants. I don't know if you can tell, but that front strut has bugs and stuff all over it. So anyway, I'm probably not going to fly this again until Oshkosh. I just kind of want to work on getting it all cleaned up and ready. Now, speaking of Oshkosh, I did post on the Kitplane Enthusiast Facebook page that I know a lot of you guys want to see this airplane, and since I'm flying it into Oshkosh, I've kind of committed myself to be at the airplane. I'm going to be parking in home-built camping, and I'm going to be at the airplane at 6 o'clock on Tuesday evening. So if you want to stop by and say hello, I'd like to meet you, and then you can take a look at the airplane. Just don't look too close, because then you're going to see all the flaws in the airplane, and you know, it's not going to be as good as you think it is. So anyway, I hope I'll see you guys there at Oshkosh. All right, now let me give you an update on what I've got done on the Super Duty. Obviously, you can see the main gear is on, the wheels are on. In one of the previous videos, I finished up the brake lines inside, and what I've been working on is up front. I have this piece is all riveted to the firewall, and I put the rivets in this side because I wanted a nice finished side on this side, because this is the side that you're going to see. You have to squeeze each of these by hand though, because your pneumatic riveter won't fit in there to do that. So anyway, that piece is on. On the inside here, I've got this all finished up. I've got the engine mounts on here. And one of the tips I have for you is if you guys haven't riveted this on yet, I didn't have these rivets in. This rivet here, you'll need to squeeze at least this rivet before you put this on, because I couldn't get the rivet gun straight on there. I probably could if I filed away not rivet gun, but you know what I mean, the squeezer. I could have filed it away and got that. But anyway, just easier if you squeeze this rivet before you put the engine mount brackets on. So that's done on that side, and that is done on that side as well. Let's see, all the rivets are in here except here, because that's this plate right here, and part of the engine mount comes up here, and there's two bolts that go through there that'll need to be drilled. At the same time, I have the cabin frame on, because the front part of the cabin frame goes up here and shares the same holes. Now yesterday, I was all ready to put on the nose gear. I started getting this ready, and what I did was on each of these aluminum rings, I used this deburring tool, and I went around the inside of the ring, and then I used sandpaper on the outside of the ring just to take off that sharp 90-degree corner. So anyway, once I did all that, I was going to put these hockey pucks back on, or on here, but they do fit pretty tight, and I was reading on the Zenith forums to use silicone grease for these, and I don't have that. So I had to order that from Amazon, so that will be here in a couple days. So hopefully I can get those greased up, put on here, and then this nose gear bracket should be ready to install on the firewall. And that is all I've really got done on the Super Duty. It's a lot of work. It doesn't seem like it, but it's still a lot of work getting that done. And like I said earlier, I've only been working in 5, 10, 20-minute increments on and off on the airplane. So it's just between that pesky job of mine, the hangar maintenance, the airplane maintenance, getting the wings put back on the pits, getting it rigged. I've just been busy. So, and now Oshkosh is coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I hope I get to see you guys there. Remember, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, I'll be at the airplane in Hope Camping, and hope to see you there. All right, we'll see you again on the next video.